Tonight, we spotlight a crisis with global consequences, unfolding quietly, but relentlessly. Satellite images reveal the Caspian Sea, the world's largest inland body of water, is shrinking at a shocking pace. Water levels are dropping, exposing new coastlines and threatening ecosystems, economies, and energy security. This isn't just an environmental issue, it's a geopolitical flashpoint. Russia, the US, and China are locked in a new Cold War over the Caspian's vast oil and gas reserves. Scientists warn the Caspian is losing several centimeters of water each year, enough to spell disaster over time. The northern Caspian, already shallow, is at risk of vanishing, putting entire ecosystems on the brink. The stakes are enormous: energy resources, regional stability, and the livelihoods of millions. As the water recedes, competition for what lies beneath intensifies, turning climate crisis into a power struggle. The world's attention may be elsewhere, but here, a high-stakes showdown is brewing. The shrinking sea is a ticking clock, raising the risk of conflict and environmental collapse. We'll take you inside this complex crisis, why the Caspian matters, who's fighting for control, and what's at stake. From legal battles to environmental devastation, this is a story of power, money, and survival. The Caspian's fate hangs in the balance, caught between superpower ambitions and a changing climate. Tonight, we unravel the urgent story of the Caspian Sea. This is a crisis you can't afford to ignore. The Caspian Sea is a landlocked giant, fed mostly by the Volga River, making it uniquely vulnerable to climate shifts. Unlike oceans, it can't replenish its water. Its level depends on river inflow and evaporation. Today, that balance is breaking. Climate models predict the Caspian could drop by up to 18 meters by century's end. That's a third of its surface area gone, with the northern Caspian, home to vital fisheries and rare wildlife, at risk of disappearing. The crisis is already real. Ports are stranded, fishing fleets idle, and communities face existential threats as the shoreline retreats. Beneath the Caspian lies some of the world's largest untapped oil and gas reserves. As the sea shrinks, accessing these resources grows more difficult and contentious. Receding waters redraw borders, sparking new disputes over who owns the hydrocarbon fields. The Caspian is a critical piece of the global energy puzzle, an alternative to Middle Eastern oil and Russian gas. For Europe, it's energy security. For China, a vital supply line. For the US, a strategic counterweight to Russia and Iran. The shrinking sea adds urgency to this geopolitical game, forcing every player to rethink their strategy. The Caspian's geography, once its strength, is now its greatest vulnerability. The world's energy future and the fate of millions hangs in the balance. The crisis is here, and the clock is ticking. 5 countries border the Caspian: Russia, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Iran, and Azerbaijan. For decades, they've argued a deceptively simple question: is the Caspian a sea or a lake? If it's a sea, international maritime law applies, giving countries with long coastlines like Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan control over vast oil and gas fields. If it's a lake, resources are shared equally, a scenario favored by Iran, which has the shortest coastline. This legal ambiguity stalled development and investment for years, as no one wanted to risk billions on contested ground. The debate became a proxy war for economic and political dominance. Each nation pushed the definition that best served its interests, creating a diplomatic stalemate. The result: the messer is Deniz register dodi. Immense wealth locked away, and tensions simmering just below the surface. The Caspian's legal status remains a battleground, shaping the region's future. The legal fight over the Caspian status was a geopolitical chess match. If defined as a sea, the median line principle would carve up the seabed, favoring Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan. Iran, with the shortest coastline, pushed for a lake definition, an equal 20% share for each nation. Russia's stance was strategic, favoring the lake status to maintain veto power over pipelines and projects. In 2018, after decades of deadlock, the 5 nations signed the Convention on the Legal Status of the Caspian Sea. The compromise: the water's surface is for common use, but the seabed is divided into national sectors. This legitimized Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan's claims to massive energy fields. But the agreement left key boundaries unresolved, especially in the south, fueling ongoing disputes. The legal framework is in place, but the fight for control, barrel by barrel, continues. The Caspian's legal status is settled on paper, but the real battles are just beginning. The region's future remains uncertain, shaped by shifting alliances and unresolved claims. Russia's grip on the Caspian is a blend of military might, economic leverage, and geography. The 2018 treaty bans foreign military forces, cementing Russia's dominance with its powerful Caspian flotilla. Russia controls the Volga Canal, the Caspian's only link to the outside world, giving it a strategic chokehold. Any vessel entering or leaving the Caspian needs Moscow's permission. For decades, Russia controlled export routes for Central Asian oil and gas, forcing neighbors to rely on its pipelines. This dependency gave Moscow political and economic power, including the ability to block rivals and charge high transit fees. Russia has consistently blocked Trans-Caspian pipelines that would bypass its territory, citing environmental concerns. The 2018 convention allows pipelines but requires approval from affected countries, giving Russia another tool to delay projects. Through military presence, canal control, and diplomatic obstruction, Russia maintains an iron grip on the Caspian's destiny. The sea may be shrinking, but Moscow's influence is not. The Caspian energy scramble has clear winners and losers. Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan, with long coastlines and vast reserves, have transformed their economies and gained independence from Russia. Azerbaijan built pipelines to Turkey and Europe, while Kazakhstan's Kashagan field made it a global energy player. Both nations secured their claims in the legal fight, attracting Western investment and political clout. Iran, with a short coastline and little legal leverage, lost out. Its sector is deep, unexplored, and hampered by sanctions. Turkmenistan holds huge gas reserves but struggles to export, blocked by Russian opposition and lack of direct pipelines to Europe. A pipeline to China offers some relief, but the dream of a Trans-Caspian route remains elusive. The Caspian's energy boom has left some nations rich, others frustrated, and all locked in a high-stakes game. The region's fortunes are as uneven as its shifting shores. The scramble for energy has redrawn the map and the balance of power. The Caspian is a global chessboard, not just a regional affair. The US backs pipelines that bypass Russia, supporting Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan's sovereignty and energy independence. American energy giants invest heavily, but US influence is mostly diplomatic and economic. China, hungry for resources, invests billions in pipelines and infrastructure, securing oil and gas from Kazakhstan and Turkmenistan. Its overland routes are less vulnerable to maritime blockades, making the Caspian vital to Beijing's energy security. Turkey, with deep cultural ties to the region, has become a key transit hub, connecting Caspian energy to Europe. Pipelines like Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan and the Southern Gas Corridor run through Turkey, boosting its regional clout. President Erdogan champions pan-Turkic cooperation, challenging Russia's dominance and positioning Turkey as a bridge between East and West. The Caspian's new great game is about pipelines, contracts, and influence, not just territory. As the sea shrinks, the competition only intensifies. Beneath the power struggle, the Caspian Sea is dying. Climate change is accelerating evaporation, while rivers like the Volga shrink from overuse and drought. The result, relentless water loss, with devastating ecological fallout. The northern Caspian's collapse is destroying breeding grounds for species like the endangered Caspian seal and sturgeon. Pollution from oil, gas, and industry has made the sea increasingly toxic. The Aral sea disaster looms as a warning. Once the world's fourth largest lake, now a toxic desert. The Caspian faces a similar fate, but on a larger scale: desertification, dust storms, and economic ruin for millions. Oil and gas have brought wealth, but also chronic pollution and environmental neglect. As the sea recedes, pollutants concentrate, threatening wildlife and human health. The Caspian is caught in a perfect storm: climate-driven decline and unchecked industrial damage. The crisis is urgent, and the window for action is closing. The world must act before the Caspian becomes another ecological tragedy. The world is finally paying attention to the Caspian's plight. Scientists warn that continued water loss will devastate biodiversity, strand ports, and cripple regional economies. The irony: the fossil fuels everyone is fighting over are driving the climate change that's killing the sea. The 2018 convention settled legal issues but failed to create a real framework for environmental action. Each nation still prioritizes its own interests, leaving the environment as an afterthought. The question: can these rivals shift from competition to cooperation? Saving the Caspian would require joint management of water resources, investment in green technology, and a powerful environmental agency. Trust is in short supply, but the stakes couldn't be higher. The Caspian stands at a crossroads. Rivalry leads to collapse, cooperation to hope. The world is watching as the region faces a stark choice. Will ambition and greed doom the sea, or can shared stewardship save it? The fate of the Caspian, and millions who depend on it, hangs in the balance.